Hello everyone, this is Kyret64 and welcome back to another reaction video. This reaction video will be of Paper Mario 1000-Year Door Glitches, Son of a Glitch, episode 39 by A+Start. So let's get this started. Yeah.
Son of a glitch. Paper Mario, the 1000-Year Door. One of the most polished Paper Mario games and a fan favorite, it's also a pretty solid entry in the series glitch-wise. But even though it's not a complete train wreck like another game starring Paper Mario, the glitches in the 1000-Year Door range from just plain weird. So,
what?
Being said, let's check out
What? What?
There are 3 random glitches.
There's a ground with Yoshi.
The first one involving Yoshi. On this ledge outside Kroop's house, if you
What?
Yoshi towards the edge
What the heck?
direction, you'll randomly fall through the floor. Down here, you can see some
Okay.
like this.
What? What?
This.
What?
Going into Kroop's house with Koops as your
Koops
partner,
gets
if
stuck.
you stand behind the chair and then press X to kick his shell, Koops will go through the floor. He'll be
Yay!
stuck until you move far enough to the right or leave the house entirely.
Okay.
Having a good time there, Koops. I'm gonna leave now. Another similar glitch can be done
Under
with
Koops' house,
Stand
Flurry
by Koops'
Super
front
Slide.
door until you can see the exclamation point on screen. Now press X followed immediately.
Yeah, that's a thing. I knew about the Flurry Super Slide.
Blow Mario into Koops' house and through the floor. Seriously, does everything just go through the floor in this game? Is it
Apparently.
theme? You're now able to move around under the house.
Yay.
And you're outside it where everything is now black since the game thinks you're indoors. You can speak to the NPCs as normal even though they're not visible. Going into another house in Petalburg will correct the glitch for the most part, except when you go to Kroop's house, well, it
Oh, what the?
I really like the place.
What?
The indoors, outdoors, it's Kroop's has lost it, guys. Let's move on. The previous glitch was thanks
Invalid
to
item glitch.
Flurry Super Slide, and it can be used in a variety of ways. Head to the lovely house of badges in Roadport and stand in front of the door with the exclamation point on screen. Press X followed immediately by A to perform the Flurry Super Slide, and Mario will be blown off the ledge by Flurry, but the interior of the badge shop will load. Similar to the previous glitch, you'll now be in an unloaded Roadport and everything is blacked out, though you're still able to interact with NPCs and open doors. Open the door to the regular shop directly below where the badge shop would be, and you'll be able to see the badge shop above. Leaving the shop will load Roadport correctly, and now you can go back to the badge shop. As you enter the badge shop, the selection hand cursor will appear on screen before you're even inside. Now, if you go to buy a badge of any kind, the second you buy the item, it'll become an invalid item. This possibly occurs because the game duplicates the flag that checks whether the badge has been purchased or not and sets it to both purchased and not purchased at the same time, rendering it invalid. And when you leave the shop, you'll take the hand cursor with you. I don't like you, and I don't like you, and I really don't like you. You're okay. And when
You're okay.
The cursor will go away. Performing the glitch a second time with it already being in effect will cause the badges to appear at coordinates 000, right in the middle of Roadport Plaza, although you won't be able to interact with them.
Okay.
That's really strange. This glitch can be performed repeatedly and you'll end up with
Multiple cursors.
So that's cool, I think. One of the biggest uses of the
Ultra Hammer early.
though, would be in a trick to get the Ultra Hammer early, which is a Japanese version only glitch. Once you have Flurry, go upstairs to the inn and leave through the back door towards the lovely house of badges. When you're outside, get into paper mode and then move right towards the door and then down right to get into the corner of the door and then exit paper mode. Now move directly left and then turn around. Now you need to do small jumps to the right, inching back towards the door until the exclamation point appears, and here's where we'll perform the Flurry Super Slide. Press X and then A immediately after, followed by 3 more presses of the X button in a rhythm. If this is performed correctly, Mario will be placed on the seam of the inn like so. But if you press X 3 times...
Falling out of the inn 4 times will stop like the game when you get the Ultra Hammer, so be careful not to. I couldn't read that!
Want to do as little movement as possible, placed on the seam of the inn like so. But if you press X 3 times too quickly...
After falling out 4 times, either Roadport Plaza or to reload the inn and try again.
Now Mario is on the seam, but you want to do as little movement as possible as it's really easy to fall off the seam. Now now press the R button to get into paper mode, and you should see Mario drop ever so slightly, indicated
What?
in the upper air. And this
Okay.
will mean you're on the lower edge of the scene. If you're not on the lower edge of the scene, the trick won't work. In this case, stay in paper mode and tap left the tiniest amount, and you should be on the lower edge. Now we need to get Mario in the correct position using tap jumps downwards to line Mario's feet up.
Slow-mo.
If you exit paper mode and his feet are lined up like this, you're good to go. Now get back into paper mode, press left on the D-pad to get into the partner menu, and then hold directly right on the control stick and unpause. This will let you move along the scene without falling off or going inbounds. And
Okay.
then you exit paper mode once you're quite a way along the scene. For reference, here's where you are in relation to the chest containing the Ultra Hammer. From here, we can jump to the right and land on top of the chest, and then make small tap jumps downwards to land next to the chest. Facing right, we then need to make tiny turns to the left where an exclamation point will appear on screen for a few frames. We need to time an A button press when the exclamation point is on screen, and this will open the chest and give us the Ultra Hammer 4 chapters earlier than intended.
Nice.
This is a very difficult trick to get down, but once you understand it and the
Too bad I don't have the Japanese version.
Just remember to keep movements very small when on the scene and no big jumps. Tap jumps are the best way to line up and land in the right places. Now, as I said earlier, this is a Japanese version only glitch and won't work on the English version. This has to do with the way the Flurry Super Slide works in the Japanese version that differs from other versions. So, unfortunately, no Ultra Hammer early in the English version.
Aww. Goombella buffering / cage skip. I've heard about this. I've never. I don't know how to do it. Well, I've seen it in speedruns.
Have Goombella as your partner and stand in the doorway until Mario is lined up like this. Now we're going to press X followed immediately by right on the control stick. You have 3 frames with which Mario can move once Goombella has been activated. There's a definite timing to it, and once you have it down, you can move beyond the load zone placed in it. Once you're far enough right, you can just move normally and keep moving right until Goombella is no longer visible. Now into paper mode by pressing and holding the R button, and then move directly up so you're against the wall. Switch to up left on the control stick until you see Mario back on screen, and then move directly upward. Mario is now out of bounds,
There's Goombella.
and you can see him in the background. Without moving too far into the background, move to the left while being sure not to go back inbounds, and then you need to do small tap jumps upwards until Mario falls through the floor. As Mario falls, hold down on the control stick, and once he lands by the pipe, continuously jump until you enter the pipe. As long as you continue to jump, you'll be able to take all the punies with you when performing this trick. This is a glitch in itself, where the game seems to need a few frames for you to be completely on the ground before it realizes the punies aren't with you. This glitch can be used several times in the Great Tree to skip having to take the punies with you through entire rooms to the pipes. This particular pipe is normally only accessible once you have the super boots, which you get during the Great Tree escape sequence. The reason this trick is used in a speedrun is that it skips the cage the punies get trapped in. Once the trick is performed, you're able to carry on with Chapter 2, except the escape sequence is triggered twice. The first time when you enter the room with the Emerald Star, Lord Crump activates the timer, and from here you would go on to get the super boots as normal. However, when you enter this pipe by the door again, you'll enter the room with the Emerald Star, and the cutscene with Crump is triggered once more. The first timer is stopped, and the second timer begins in its place, but the ticking you'll hear is from the first timer, and it won't stop until you save and quit, or until you reach Chapter 4. From here, you make your way to fight Lord Crump and Magnus von Grapple as usual, and after the fight, the chapter ends as expected. You'd now go on to Chapter 3, but depending on what version of the game you're playing, the next sequence of events will differ greatly. If you're playing an English version of the game, which is more than likely, you'll have to play through Chapter 3 all the way up until you receive the Super Hammer at rank number 8, and then you need to D-rank to rank number 11.
You must D-rank to number 11 if rank 10 or higher. The cutscene where Grubba shows you round will end in the Major League room, and as you only just entered Chapter 3, the game doesn't know what to do.
Have the Super Hammer, D-rank, head to Chapter 2 and go to the cage we skipped earlier. Inside the cage is a floor panel you can spin jump, and you'll see that Punio appears suddenly with a line of text, and this will revert the game back to Chapter 2. This means you can now restart Chapter 3 with the Super Hammer, but there's one very important step to do to make sure you restart Chapter 3 correctly. When the cutscene with the Yoshi egg begins, make sure that the first speech bubble text is displayed in full, and then cancel it once the camera has panned outwards. This will ensure that this cutscene of Raw Cork in the ring triggers, meaning you successfully reverted the game back to the beginning of Chapter 3. Interestingly, having Yoshi at this point in the game when you shouldn't means he has no dialogue scripted, and so you get no messages English displayed instead. From here, you'll need to continue Chapter 3 as normal until you see Grubber and he gives you the guided tour around the different rooms. He'll eventually ask you if you want to sign up, and here we need to say, I don't think so. This now gives us free access to Grubber's office and opens up the next sequence break glitch, the bookcase jump. We need to stand on top of the couch on the red part roughly here. Next, we need to hold up left on the control stick, jump, and then spin jump, and with great timing, we can land on top of the bookcase. This is a very precise jump, and timing is everything. The first jump needs to be a full jump, and Mario must be in motion. It cannot be a standing jump. The angle is also pretty precise. You're aiming for the corner of the bookcase, and this is the perfect angle. And a well-timed spin jump will put Mario on the bookcase. As you're never meant to reach the bookcase from this side, the vent cover has no collision, so you're able to go right through it, and this will trigger a cutscene that happens in the final section of Chapter 3. And here's why you needed the Super Hammer. An upgraded hammer is the only way to break the vent cover from this side and continue to the end of the chapter. In the Japanese version of the game, after performing Ultra Hammer early, you could just begin Chapter 3, decline Grubber's offer to sign up, and then perform bookcase jump to proceed to the end of the chapter. But in the English versions, you need the Super Hammer, which can only be obtained by playing away into Chapter 3 and getting to rank number 8. If you venture to the left in the vent, you'll end up in the Champions Room. When you try leaving this room, security is blocking the door on the other side, and so Mario is pushed out of bounds. There's not an awful lot you can do with this though, it's just funny to see. An even funnier thing you can do with the security guards is if you stand the correct distance away from them, they'll move backwards and forwards repeatedly in a kind of rhythm. Oh yeah, those are some security is tight. There's a way to enter Chapter 4
Yoshi skip. Oh, I've heard about this.
Trick fittingly called Yoshi skip. It basically involves using the Spaniards in Roadport sewers. You set up the skip by
I know about this. I've never. I don't know how to do it though.
Now stuck on the wall and going nowhere. Now using Coop, space away from the Spaniard and press and hold X to kick his shell. Next, get into the corner of this wall and stand on the bottles, and here you want to release X and then do a full jump a few frames later. If Mario looks like this when the encounter begins, you'll have a good shot at the next step. You need to run away from this fight and then hold down left on the control stick. As the screen fades from flashes to gameplay, there is one frame where it's possible to jump whilst already in the air. This gives Mario the height to then spin jump around 12 frames later. If performed correctly, this will place Mario on the ledge that would usually require Yoshi to get to, and from here you can get to Twilight Town early. In a speedrun, this incredibly difficult trick is performed twice. Once to get rejected from the pipe to Twilight Town, and the second to actually enter it after visiting the 1,000-Year Door and also speaking to Darkly. It takes an amazing amount of tries